Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show 66, the Cyber Monday Show. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, did you notice that the title line says the Monday Show 65? I think we might have to go in here and fix it in real time, huh?
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was 65, but yeah, it's supposed to be 66, right? We didn't go back a
Well,
week.
it's the magic of television, Roots. It has now been changed. It is corrected, and Cyber Monday Show, right?
Yeah, Cyber Monday, man. Does that mean, is there even any good sales? I guess there was some sales today, right? I know in VR.
Oh, dude, there's some well, Oculus Quest had some sales on VR. The Steam sale is ongoing, as I kind of alluded to yesterday, and in the Discord especially. The deals are hardware deals, man. It's a good time to upgrade your computer if you've got money, or if you're like me and you have relatives that are going, "Hey, man, what do you want for Christmas?" Well, let me tell you what I want.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't even know what I want, Wes. I'm still trying to decide what I want. I want world peace, and
Oh, brother,
I
I think
want
we all want that.
and I want the coronavirus to go away forever and just to
You know
die.
what? Screw world peace. Let's just have domestic peace. Would be amazing.
Yeah, well, we used to have that, man. We used to live in a little bubble and it was all nice and cozy, and now it's just at least we got our VR bubble so we can get away from the weirdness. So far the VR bubble is not weird. It's fun. And actually what's weird was it's been a while since every single game that we're going to talk about that we played I actually enjoyed on some level. Some more than others, but it's definitely going to be a good conversation for sure.
Yeah, man. How often do we have the game of the month conversation? But the games before that discussion really, I feel like is going to be the highlight of the show. That's the reason why I led off the title sequence with the game titles this time instead of just going game of the month like I normally do. I feel like the titles themselves really are going to be the highlight of the show today.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Anyway, we're about to kick that conversation off, but first, as always, let's say what's up to our friends in chat. Mash Daddy, cool. That's Eric Smasher, right? Right,
Yes.
Roots.
Yep. Yeah, we call him Five, Johnny Five. There's a
What's up,
long.
Johnny Five? Good to see that you're alive.
Yeah.
Radio Runt, Scion, the old the old crew back in the house again. Andrew Kiros, Phil Yarn, Matty Matt 23, Mepper, familiar faces, Roots, VR Spry Guy. The Monday Show crew coming out, despite the fact, Roots, that's bedtime for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's pretty late actually. I was thinking about this last night because I had a lot of kids like in dropping into my stream and stuff, and then they like actually followed, and it was like, why are they up? And I don't know, man. It's definitely a late stream, but I know the UK, the East Coast people don't like what the UK do, so or some
And
anyway.
Delirium Drew checking in. Diz the Game Cat. The Game Cats, they stay up late, Roots. I don't know if you know this or not, but these guys go all night with the PSVR.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I can't do that anymore. I tried to. Actually, I thought about making some coffee tonight, and I thought, no, I actually need a good night's sleep. Um, so I think
Yeah,
we're,
you working tomorrow?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it'll be early day, but it'll be good.
It's getting to be the slow season, right? I don't know about where you're at, but it is cold AF here.
That's not too bad actually. It was almost 60 here today. It was nice, and I mean it's slowing down, but sometimes the stops are early, West, and I need my sleep.
It's been 60 for the vast majority of November here. We've had beautiful weather. It's been, my favorite season of the year, autumn. But the one thing about autumn is you never know when it's going to flip on you and turn into winter overnight, and that's what's happened. We've had 60-degree weather for weeks and weeks, and then last night specifically, it starts snowing, and it hasn't stopped.
Oh wow. Yeah, I miss the snow, man. I need some snow, some good old fashioned snow, Wes.
Well, bro, you can have it because it is cold AF here. You know, the good thing about that is though, you can get in that VR headset and you don't have to worry about steaming thing up, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that sucks about the summertime too. It's not even the steam, it's just being too hot. It's not a complaint in the wintertime, so usually.
Yeah, it brings new meaning to the term Steam VR, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't for sure, but I try to steam it up anyway. But
Anyway, let's talk about these games, man. With some good titles that we had to deal with this month. But the first one, uh, not receiving the best reviews, and it's easy to see why. You know,
mm,
obviously, people in our space tend to be cynical, but certainly some legitimate criticism has gone out to Hinge in recent days. And for those of you who don't know, Hinge episode one is the first installment in an episodic Lovecraftian horror game. And it is a game, it's not an experience. This is a game. Um, a highly anticipated one in my book. And people were a bit let down by it. But I thought, Roots, you know, this thing has got so much negative, you know, press, so many negative reviews. I thought we would start off a little differently and talk about what this game does well. And right off the top, a big thank you to the people at Arcadia for granting Roots and I review access to this game. We did not pay for this, we did receive it as a review copy. But Roots, you know, you've heard me in the months leading up to the release of this speculate that this could be the type of game that I've been looking for years at this point. The type of game that I haven't seen in PCVR. The type of game that keeps you off balance, that puts you in this nightmarish dreamscape, hellscape, if you will, where you never know what's going to happen. Anything could be lurking around any corner, and you know, at any moment the rug can get pulled out from under you. And I am very, very happy to report, Roots, that that is exactly what this game is. It was everything in terms of what the game is. It was everything that I hoped it would be, and that, my friend, is absolutely awesome.
I just have one question for you. What the fuck is going on in this place? Like you said, man, I'm roaming around in this thing and there's so much there was so much weirdness to it, and I know people were complaining about like I guess maybe people don't like to have their well, I know people don't like to have their handheld, not understanding what's going on, and I was in that boat for a little bit, but you kind of need to look around and experience some stuff, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I was blown away by just how bizarre this was, but then how intricate it started to get, like with the whole the cigarette thing, right? I found the cigarette case, I found the cigarettes. So I said, "Oh, I'll spark one up," right? All of a sudden I'm in this like I guess it's a safe room and time stops. And it's I kind of think of it's like the investigation room where you can put all the clues together because you know, for a while I didn't know what was going on, and then I finally figured out, oh wow, I don't in the game I don't know what's going on. I've lost my memory and I'm completely lost. But that's what was cool is like I'm starting to get some stuff back, Wes, and I'm seeing weird stuff. And I saw some weird guy when he tipped his hat or did something. I don't know, man. There's just so much coolness to this game that I'm looking forward to the negative things being fixed because I was blown away by exactly what you said and just how much it keeps you on your toes and just I still don't exactly know 100% what's going on, but I have that abduction feeling like I want to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are clues to the story spread throughout this building that you're trapped in. Clues to your identity, clues to how you got here, and the whole point with any great horror game is how do you get out, right? So that's kind of what you're doing here. You're exploring, trying to figure out what happened and how you can escape. All the meanwhile, I mean, it's like you're on like a like a bad acid trip or something. That you know, this building seems to be physically changing around you and attacking you from time to time. Um, just absolutely, uh, a game that keeps you off balance at all times, and you never quite get comfortable in this place, do you?
No, no, and I wish, and that was one of the things that I wish I was able to do, which I'm sure you were able to do with your video card. Maybe is I see the lighting in this gameplay is like phenomenal, but I turned off the dynamic lighting to get better performance, and so it was dark. It was really dark for me. So I was going to ask you, how did you walk into like pits? I walked into off the ledge of like several times, and I like all of a sudden I'm back to somewhere else, and I thought it was like the world was changing, but no, I was walking off the edge. You're not supposed to walk off the edge and die. I was literally dying, but I didn't know because it was dark in that on the where those pitfall things were. But
Yeah, right at the beginning there.
yeah, yeah, but no, and then I'm sure this is like a West special. Like every hallway, there's like clippings of. I mean, there were so many things. I was like, well, I want to know why there's Indians on the dollars, Wes. That was what was weird, and there's something to do with time, and they're I'm finding things, and they're saying hey, make sure you stabilize such and such room because I think they've been manipulating time, and it's getting fucked, and I don't know what's going on, Wes. And we live in a world where there's Indian like people on the dollar bill, and that's it. It was really cool for me. So
Yeah, I still haven't quite got fully the connection to the Indians in the story. You'll notice some of the clippings and things on the wall talk about maybe using the Indians as help, good laborers. I didn't notice any of the money. That one's a new one to me. Um, so yeah, definitely some weirdness going on here. Um, let's talk a little bit about this game. The other really awesome thing about it before we get to some of the negative stuff. Um, let's talk about how this game looks visually. Can confidently say, Roots, and I didn't go tweaking a bunch of stuff with it. I just kind of went into the game and played it in my G2. Um, I could confidently say that this is one of the most beautiful looking games that I've ever played.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I was playing. I wonder how good this looks in Wes's G2 because just when I went into the opening screen and was looking around and I looked at that building and stuff, I was like, oh my god, it just looks so good, right? It just the everything looks really good and the graphics are good, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the patches that they're talking about because I want to see exactly what you see because I feel like because I'm slumming it with a 2080. I turned out everything in the menu, every single option. I disabled it, and you didn't mess with anything, so you got to see the game that I saw when I walked into that opening building, and I was like, oh my god. And then I started tweaking things around, and but even after I tweaked it, it looked amazing. So definitely a very visually stunning game. So
Yeah, yeah. Not only rendered out with beautiful high resolution textures, but just the way that even the scenes are put together in the building. It's almost like it's art. Like they're trying to make this, dark themed painting, but it's every direction you turn, there's a different scene, with some other kind of fucked up thing happening. Um, I absolutely loved it. This is what I hoped it would be. It's everything that I hoped it would be, except for one thing. The thing barely runs. I mean, it is. I mean, did you have any time in this game that it wasn't reprojecting?
yeah, yeah, I had a couple of small slim glimmers where I was like, oh wow, it's because I had my performer my meter open at the whole time, and it would so what was that essentially when I as soon as I booted it up, my entire video card, like the whole bar was just maxed. And I was like, whoa, like, even though I can do that, and I don't like my video card to be doing that. So I started going down all the, the dynamic lighting, all the different options. There's like 6 or 7 of them. I don't even know what they all are. and I just disabled each one of them. And once I got down to the last one and got them all disabled, it was good. It was bearable. It like usually hovered between 80 and 90, and sometimes it would cut down to 45, but I've been playing games at 72, at 80, at 90. I was fine. I can see where people that aren't seasoned would be like, "Whoa, I can't do this." But even, I mean, I played this for almost probably well over an hour, and I didn't want to stop. And it was really, I just want to experience it after it's been tweaked. And so I did force myself to stop, but it was definitely really good, even with the way it was. So,
Well, I should point out a couple of things. First of all, Roots's experience and my experience were uh, fairly different because I played this thing the day one version of the game. It has since been patched with a performance patch that dropped, I think, last night or this morning.
hmm.
So Roots has played the corrected
Oh, wow.
version of the game. Secondly, Roots played this on Oculus Quest 2, I assume Link, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Roots played this with Oculus Link on the Oculus Quest 2, while I played it on WMR on my HP Reverb G2, which not only is the least supported platform in
Hmm.
VR, with the exception of maybe Pimax, but it's also the highest resolution display. So it's a more demanding headset to use. So probably, I would. I haven't tried it in my Quest 2 yet. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to get into it today because I was playing so much of the other games. But I'm hopeful that Roots' experience was better than mine because mine, you didn't need a FPS counter to see that it was constantly
Oh.
reprojecting. Anytime that you moved your head, everything was ghosting really heavily and jittery. There was also other kinds of glitches, like for example, um, my hands. I don't know if this was the case for you, and it may be a compatibility thing with WMR, but my hands in game always stayed open. Like the fingers never moved at all ever. Did your fingers move in the game?
No, they did. I tried to, like, there was different things I tried to do. I was like trying to figure out why. I was like, what can I do with some of this stuff, right? I mean, you can pick some stuff up, I guess, but it's other stuff you can't. I believe you could. I did see my hands moving, so if
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
only time
mistaken.
that it would let my hands move at all was when I would pick something up, and it would only let me pick things up with my right hand. I couldn't pick anything up with my left hand, and like it was just so weird. And like certain things, um, when you pick them up, the game would behave as if you weren't supposed to, and it would everything in the room would start glitching out. Like I would grab a lantern over here, and then like things would go, start moving across the room, other just inanimate objects, which
Hmm.
it kind of fit the theme because there's a lot of poltergeist activity in this building. So there are sequences where the developer makes things start moving just because it's haunted, right? But you could tell the difference uh, between a glitch and between something that's actually part of the game. Uh, Also, when I would grab one of these items that would behave strangely, sometimes I would let it go and it would clip into my invisible body.
Hmm.
And so I would walk and literally this item would just like be stuck in midair following me around through the game. And again, this item that's stuck in my body is magically seems connected to other items in the room. So when I start moving with it phased into me, all of a sudden all kinds of other weird shit starts happening around the room, and it makes it very difficult to progress in the game.
Hmm.
It's very immersion breaking. I'll just say that. All in all, uh, it was a great concept for a game, a beautifully rendered world that keeps you off balance at all times. One of the best looking visual games I've ever seen, but one of the worst performing games I've ever seen be launched out onto Steam. This Roots it looks like a AAA game. It plays like an indie alpha, or at least that was my experience with it.
Yeah, well, the patch definitely fixed things a little bit. I will say that. Just from what you've said, I didn't have that experience. I did have something weird that happened in that beginning part, and maybe it's because I fell off the ledge so many times. But like it wouldn't. You know how there's like the beginning, there's that I don't know. You hear something, and then some. There's a bridge that kind of goes that it just wasn't there, and no matter what I did, I kept walking off the ledge thinking something was going to change. Finally, I ended up resetting the game, and then I realized, oh, there's actually a bridge there. And it went in, and the Doritos person led me around the corner or whatever. It was, I don't know. I was, the more time I spent in there, the more impressed I was, and the more I wanted to play it. Just because it was so bizarre, and I was starting to figure out what was going on. And then I guess you probably didn't get to, like I said, I saw some apparition of some guy and he vanished, and it was just such a cool scene. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I definitely think it's once they've fixed the glitches, which I guess they're getting ready to release the patch, right? Pretty soon here.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and read off this statement. We did get a statement from the developer as the game was set to release. So and, it's good. Obviously, they address these issues in an indirect way before the game even released. So that's kind of you got to respect that. But here's a statement from Arcadia on launch day. Quote: "We want to be honest with all the people interested in Hinge, so we have to make an important announcement. Today, we are releasing Hinge in a state of 75% of what was intended to be. It allows you to buy the game with a Black Friday discount. But we promised you 8 hours of gameplay, and we will keep our promise. On December 4th, we will release an extensive game update that will fix game issues and add a lot of new content. We will be very grateful for your feedback and support." So there you have it, Roots. It just seems to me that these guys wanted to hit their targeted deadline, so they released a game that really wasn't ready to be released. But according to this statement, they must be pretty close to having it in the state that they want it to be in. So while I would have rather waited for the game than sit here waiting on this patch, um, they'll learn that lesson because it's hard to overcome these negative reviews on Steam once they start, right?
Yeah, it's already mostly negative. I think it's like 23 reviews. It would take a lot of people and it could happen, they release the patch, people start to either change their reviews, or new people come in and say, hey, it's been fixed. But typically it's just going to get mixed, and that's not usually not a good thing for a up and rising developer. Now the game is good, and that's one of the good things, right? So if they can fix this, then hopefully they don't have to completely cannibalize the price down the road.
Well, this thing has so much potential in my book. If they do indeed fix it, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that the world knows it. So listen, guys. You know, the game is on a discount right now. I could understand why some of you might be a little iffy about picking it up. Uh, it's an expensive game. It's $30 full price, which, I mean, if it weren't for the performance issues, I'd say 8 hours of this is worth $30.
Mm-hmm.
But 22 bucks right now, 22, $23 or something like that. Uh, and the sale goes on until the 5th, which
Mm.
is the day after they're supposedly patching this. So if I were you guys, I would wait until the patch hits. I would buy the game and try it out then. And then if it doesn't live up to your expectations, maybe think um, about refunding it. But even as it stands, Roots, with all of the performance issues, the good was so good that I continue to play it anyway, and I enjoyed my experience overall, in spite of all the jank and all the problems I had making my way through the game.
Oh, that's good. So you're gonna wait for the patch then, or are you gonna go in and check it out since you haven't checked it since this latest patch? I bet you.
Yeah, that was my plan for today, was to go into it with the Oculus Quest, so it's a little less demanding, and then and it's we said, it's already been patched. I want to see if it's any better. According to your experience, I would say that it sounds like it's much better than what my experience was with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done you. Of course, you didn't turn all your stuff off either, though. I think if I would have left everything turned on the way it was, it would have been a completely different experience for me. Um,
Well, I think at least some of my issues may have been WMR related, because my hands should have worked. You know what I mean? And I think that part of that specifically might have had something to do with the new WMR controllers.
yeah, true. Well, hopefully, well, I guess we don't have that long to wait, right? 4 days. We'll find out.
Absolutely. And Viveport, I think this game's coming to Infinity that day as
Oh
well.
wow. Well, there you go. Well, all you Viveport people, Anthony can do his next episode 2 on it, and you can check it out, man. I guarantee you, this is definitely worth checking out on Viveport Infinity for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's worth checking out as it stands, even if they don't fix anything. Again, the good outweighs the bad here. An absolutely beautiful game and an unsettling, terrifying at some points experience. So, kudos to Arcadia. Uh, please listen to people's feedback and try not to get too down on yourselves for these trolls that tend to be a little overly negative. You've got a lot of potential here to make one of the best horror games that VR has ever seen. So keep at it, keep improving it, and I'm sure you're going to get there.
Yep.
Anyway, from there, Roots, we went to the title that you chose to check out this week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. This one, this I'm gonna start it out with just because this is what sparked my interest in this because I didn't even know it was really out for people to try and beta or whatever. But I saw a Main Fan. I'm gonna give Main Fan a little love here. I can't get my video from today, so I'm gonna show his stream. Um, this game 1976. This is from the people that made Operation Warcade. And you said this yesterday, and it really resonated with me. And I said this on my live stream today. I think they really did find their niche, especially after playing through this today. And I was talking in the stream and having people just come up with different ideas of different games that they could, get a license to and do something similar to this. And there's so many different ideas of games out there, Wes, that you can think of how many games that you would love to play that don't even involve shooting. I was thinking even like a double dragon where you're running around punching people and doing stuff. I don't know, man. This whole arcade game thing where you're in the game but you're outside the game somewhat. I just love it, and this one is definitely no different. So
Yeah, this game brought to us by Ivanovich Games. Once again, we would like to thank Ivanovich Games for granting us review access to this game. A couple of disclaimers right off the top. First of all, the version of this game that we have played is in beta. It's not the complete release version of the game just yet. Secondly, I know the game looks pretty cool on the flat screen here, but the flat screen footage of this game does it absolutely no justice. This is a beautiful game inside the headset with some of the most effective and and deep 3D that I've seen in VR.
yeah, the 3D man for like that. I don't know. It's probably like 5 or 6 levels. That beginning plane when it swoops in at you, it like almost scared me every time because it was so. And I can't imagine. I'm assuming you played this in the G2. It just looked so good and so real. Everything was so crisp, and it just blew me away. The gameplay and just everything about the game was just really good.
Yeah, so basically, if you loved Operation Morcade, you're gonna love this. The gameplay loop is very, very similar. They basically take what they did to Operation Wolf, and they did it to 1943, the classic top-down World War II shooter. They've done the same thing here. Um, I would say that Operation Warcade probably has a little bit more diversity in the gameplay just because of all the different weapons and things and different immersion points. But with that said, I would say that this game is a little better graphically than Operation Warcade was. So they both have their strengths, and the feeling, that addicted feeling I get when playing this game, is pretty much identical to when I would play Operation Warcade because I played it exactly the same way. I'd start on level one, and I repeated level one until I got 5 stars. And that meant playing it over and over and over and over again, which is precisely what I did in Operation Warcade as well. This game is so addictive, and this game being so good is what I'm blaming my failure to return to Hinge today, because between this and the next game we're going to talk about, I put a little more time in than I was originally intending to, and it kept me from being able to play all three.
Yeah, this game was just as I had the same feeling, except for I was trying to showcase. I was doing the stream, so I was trying to do every level, and I guarantee you were doing better than me, but I never got past that level either. I got to the stars, and that's what I always when this game out or in Operation Warcade as well. I've run into that wall, and then I'm like trying to do stars, and it's hard, Wes. But I'm starting to get my rhythm back in this type of game, and just all the moving and juking and jiving, right? And just brought a lot of memories back, and that's what I love about these games the most is just the feelings that it elicits, and just brings back a lot of memories from when I was a kid. So,
Certainly a heavy nostalgia factor here. As far as getting the stars, I found that what was key to my success, the little bit of it that I did play, because I didn't play many levels. I just played the first couple over and over again. Um, what really allowed me to progress and get some of the more difficult star challenges was, selecting the right upgrades from the
mm,
workshop, because the
yeah.
way this works is you play a level, you earn coins. Or I don't even know if it's coins in the workshop. You earn some kind of a token, and then in your workshop, you spend it to upgrade various things about your aircraft. And at first, I was finding it difficult to get all these different stars, but I would tailor my upgrade selections to whatever challenge I was trying to complete in the level,
Mm.
and that helped me out a whole lot.
Oh wow! See, I didn't. I my thinking. I just started buying all the coin upgrades, like I guess giving you extra coins. And then I thought
Yeah.
after a while, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have wasted all those coins on that because I could have upgraded my plane and made it easier. So I kind of felt like I made it difficult. Now we had a little bit of difficulty starting the game, and I don't know if you and I had the same issue. I think yours you said was firewall related. Mine was, I believe, Steam VR beta. So I'm just throwing that out there just to warn people that if you do have issues, that might be the issue for this starting it. And then I had an issue, and I don't know if the developers will let them know, and it might have been just my issue, but I was trying to use the gamepad. Did you use the gamepad? Because it recommends to use the gamepad. So I was like, well, who am I to go against the recommendations? But every time I would push up on the gamepad controller, it would pop me out of the game. And then I was like, what is going on? And thank God for MameFan that was watching the stream, because he was like, oh, dude, just use your controllers, your regular controllers. And so I did, and I was like, it was night and day. I was like all giddy almost because I was able to actually get to play the game. So I don't know what the gamepad issue was, but I would definitely recommend the motion controllers, and I don't know why you wouldn't use those anyway. I think it would be better.
Yeah, my issue turned out to be that my antivirus had quarantined the game program, the game file.
Mm.
So I would be able to boot into the game, but when I would actually get to the screen where you select a level and and actually start playing the game, the accept button wasn't there, and it wouldn't let me actually start the game.
Hmm.
Uh, I tried it a few times, and I did use my motion controllers as a gamepad. You know, I didn't actually use the in game stick. I used the motion controllers, but I used them as a gamepad, using the thumbsticks to move around. Um, but after I cleared the game file out of my virus chest, I was able to boot into the game, and it played great after that.
Okay. Yeah. No, mine didn't do that, but that makes sense. You know, if it did that, it was would definitely wouldn't let you open it. Mine was just crashing, and I believe it was Steam VR beta because that's the only thing I could think of. I was like, what that on the fly. So I just uninstalled Steam VR and reinstalled it, and without the beta. So
Hey man, whatever works, right?
yeah, I just need to get in there. I had like 20 people ready to watch it, and then I couldn't get it to run. And that's
You know what really surprised me about this one? We've had some Ivanovich games before, you know, and generally the way things work with them is their beta version will come out and be really rough around the edges, but it improves and it continues to improve until it finally reaches a polished state. This one's pretty much polished right out off, right out of the box, right?
yeah, I would think it was done. I wouldn't think it was in beta at all. It definitely doesn't feel like beta. Now, people were saying that they were surprised it was out, which obviously it isn't, but it does come out December 10th. And you were saying earlier it's what, $15, right?
$15, that is correct.
Yeah, what a good price. That's like perfect. So I
Yep,
think it's going to do well.
absolutely.
I think it's a to me it's an amazing game. The 3D is amazing. The gameplay is amazing. And there's so many levels, right? Is there what you said 64 yesterday, or is that am I
Yeah,
remember?
yeah. Yeah, it's like 60, 64, 68, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's an insane amount of gameplay for $15. I think Spry Guy said it. Somebody said it in the chat. Sounds like a day one buy, and I would definitely agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely would concur with that. And Roots, that again, the game's not even finished now. When this game launches in about a week and a half from now, uh, you know, we don't know that he's going to succeed, but the plan from Ivanovich is to have HOTAS support
Oh yeah.
enabled on the thing. So not only will you be able to play it as it is, but you'll be able to grab your stick. And you know who loves grabbing sticks, Roots?
My mom!
Oh wow, that's what I heard about her. You know, I was thinking about the HOTUS because I want to be. My thing is, and I was even saying that with the it'd be really easy to do with the HOTUS to give depth, to be able to go up and down instead of just of course it's more of a, I guess it's a mix. Maybe in that this era that of the gameplay or arcades didn't have that kind of depth, but it would be cool. But even so, just using that HOTUS, it's one of those things where I was saying it's gonna match up with everything. I didn't use the virtual HOTUS either. I use the thumbstick, but I will use my HOTUS if it's available on day one. So,
Yeah, I think if this game feels like it would work really well with one, especially the immersion points, right? Because you're kind of using your thumbstick in that inverted configuration anyway. Let me ask you this, Roots, and just out of curiosity, you know, did you ever play Top Gun for the NES?
I did actually, way back in the day.
Did
Yeah.
you have the same problem I have with landing on the aircraft carrier and constantly dying every time you try it?
Today, yes. I mean, I died some, but I mean, I like my thing is I want to come in and drop in. Nah, you gotta. I don't even know. There's nowhere to slow down. I want to slow down a little bit too. Uh, but I always crash when I'm landing, especially in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to land on that aircraft carrier. And one of the challenges in the second level is to destroy four turrets and then land successfully on the aircraft carrier.
Mm.
And I destroyed the turrets easily. I destroyed all of them. Exceeding the number that they give me. But I never could land on that aircraft carrier, and it threw me back to Top Gun
Mm.
because at first it was the same as Top Gun. I would undershoot it and crash at the big beginning of the thing. And then after that, I ended up overshooting it, landing perfectly on the thing, and then rolling off the edge into the water.
Ooh.
And then after that, I just started slamming down into the middle of the thing. But I never once did I actually land it.
Wow, it's funny because I literally was asking because I got right to the edge and I was like, and I stopped and I was like, I wonder if you could roll off this edge. You'll be happy to know in a couple levels. I think it's the next one or the next one after that. You get to one where you have to land and fuel up and then take off again and then kill more stuff and then land again. So they really like to rub that landing in. And then there's other times where I felt like I did everything right and it said I was unsuccessful. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with this thing? But I think there's going to be more diversity than you think, Wes, because I was thinking the same thing. I was hoping that there was going to be more ships and stuff. But there's so many levels. I'd be surprised if we don't see a little bit more different stuff, So
Yeah, and that is important to point out that I have dozens of hours in Operation Warcade. I've played that game every which way you can play it. I've captured every star. I've conquered, the online leaderboard. So my experience in that game is much more extensive than the hour to an hour and a half I put into this one today. So you very well could be right. As you progress through this game, the gameplay could open up a lot more than I'm thinking that it's going to. So that's a good point. But I'll tell you what, Roots, we're going to find out because this game has me. I am so hooked on this. I think I'm going to do exactly with this what I did with Warcade, and that is give it 20 minutes a day, until I get every star in the thing.
yeah, I need to do something different. I think I'm going to go back to level 1. I'm just going to Wes it, dude. I'm just going to keep hitting it until I get all 5 stars. I just need one more to open up the special magical level. It's probably just going to be the next level. It's not going to be magical at all, and I'm going to want to get to the next one. But like you said, this game definitely has that one more appeal, and I think they knocked it out for sure.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I would think, as beautiful as this has been, it's probably going to go something like Operation Warcade, where you play a group of levels in this area, and then after you progress a certain amount in that area, you go on to the next area. So I don't even think we've even seen the different variety of maps that we're going to end up seeing before we reach the end of this one.
What do you think of the story? I think it's cool. The flux
Yeah,
capacitor and the fact that it's like they're changing history, right?
yeah, it's pretty funny. It's an attempt at comedy, and I think it's pretty effective. That Dr. Ivanovich is pretty funny.
Yeah, I just like the fact that I can look over anytime I'm sitting in my plane and I can see that flux capacitor fluxing. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel right inside. Because who doesn't want to flux,
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. That it's a game that's got a great deal of nostalgia factor in it as it is just into the gameplay. But then you see a professor that looks a lot like Doc Brown handing you a machine that is built around a flux capacitor, and you're just like, in nostalgia heaven, right?
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was really cool.
Anyway, stay tuned. Much more to come on this game. Again, this is an early version. We're going to check it out, more after it releases, after it gets HOTAS support. And like I said, I'm going to play through this one. I have no doubt I'm going to see the end of this one. So stay tuned. We'll probably do another episode in a couple weeks, maybe a month from now, and talk more about it.
One more thing. What do you think about co-op? Wouldn't it be cool, like, not only in like just to go through the levels, but like immersion levels? I was thinking if you could have one person's flying the plane and one person's like bombing or is like a gunner from below. I just think there's a lot of things you could open up in that respect. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we say the same thing about every game. I want to bring a friend, man. I want to bring a
Yeah.
friend into this with me. And these arcade style games really lend themselves quite nicely to that, because these types of games. I don't really think maybe 1943 specifically, but these type of top-down shooters, a lot of them did have two-player simultaneous co-op. Yeah, I think it would definitely fit here, and it probably wouldn't be that difficult to implement. You wouldn't have to change the structure of the game by very much to add a second player into this.
No, just make everything a little bit harder to kill. That's about it, really. So
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, two thumbs up here. Looking forward to checking this out more. Again, this releases on Steam December 10th for a retail price of $15, and it will be coming to the Oculus and PlayStation VR platforms early next year.
cool.
Anyway, Roots, that's going to bring us to our third game, bonus game. Roots, we did 3 this week, right?
Yeah, this game I didn't even know existed until you said something about it, and I was like, oh, let me check it out. And I was like, wow, this was another one more, right? Like one, I couldn't believe it. Every time I died, I wanted to do it one more time. I can do it this time. I was
Yeah,
wrong,
this
Wes.
was an extremely pleasant surprise because, to be quite honest, I was like you. I had no idea that this game even existed. Um, the developer, Travel Lab Replay, he had tweeted something on Twitter, and somebody I follow retweeted them. And I clicked on it and started reading, realized it was a game developer. So generally, when I discover game developers on Twitter, I just follow them automatically. I followed him, and it wasn't very long after that he sent me a direct message saying, "Hey, thanks for the follow. Do you want a copy of my game?" Uh, and I was just like, "What's it called?" And he said, "Hell Road," and I'm like, "Hell Road? Hell yes, I'll play that just based on the name alone." And that was that was right before I pulled the graphics card out of my computer and sold it. So I was all set to check this one out, a couple of months ago, and then I lost my PCVR, and then I forgot about it. I forgot about even having this game until our good friend Paradise Decay played it a couple of days ago, and that reminded me. Oh yeah, I've got Hellroad. I'm supposed to play that, and so I made it a point to jump in it this week. And Roots, I'm glad I did. Not what I expected here. I expected this from screenshots to be more of like a road rash type of game, right? But that's not it at all. This is, in effect, a zombie rail shooter, but it's a very creative one that lets you steer, lets you create or lets you control the tempo of the game, and puts a timed race element into it so that you can't ever really sit around for very long. You have to be constantly being in motion and thinking about clearing your path. But it has a cool story, a fun gameplay loop, and fairly good production values to come from such a small studio.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was surprised when the first time I stopped and was like checking stuff out, and all of a sudden dogs were like attacking me from behind and stuff. I died a lot in this. It's kind of one of those things where you're torn because you want to get the points, you want to, but you have that timer, and then you want to also blow through, and then you've got different stuff that they're adding. You start with your one gun, then you get your second gun, then you get the badass javelin sword or whatever. And I didn't even know, Wes, with the first couple times I played through, you could switch through. I just was like, you have what you have. And then all of a sudden I was like, didn't have what I needed. And I was like, no, man, like, I was in a spot where I needed a gun, right? It's that spot where you stop at the end. I think it's at the end. And you have to shoot stuff. And there's like people coming and they're spitting green shit at you that kills you. And I was like, I can't javelin these things from here. And then it dawned on me that I could start flipping through the guns and of what I had gotten. And there's a lot of cool stuff, even just the stuff that tears up shit on the front, right? They've got all those you run across and it starts you can just run into stuff and it kind of grinds them up. I had a lot of fun with that thing, Wes. I
Yeah, a
killed a
lot of
lot.
diversity of weapons here. You've got the regular, automatic pistol like 9 millimeter. You have a revolver that's slightly more powerful than that. You have that javelin or like elongated sword thing that you're referring to. There's kind of like a cattle prod thing that grinds up zombies on the front of your bike, and then there's also a shotgun, and I love the shotgun. Did you get that?
No, I didn't get to the shot. I got to the point where the bike stops, and then like the different hordes are coming, and then I kept getting overrun and a little frustrated. I wanted to get because blew me away, Wes, is there's a shitload of content here that like that. I played through this whole first part, and I was like, wow, like I went to this menu, and there was all these levels that weren't unlocked, and I wanted to try the one, and I saw the one that I'm sure you saw. They said this is not Arizona Sunshine. Was the name of the level, and I was like, oh, I want to play that one, but it's like the third or fourth one, and I couldn't get through the first one. Must have played this for at least an hour, hour and a half, maybe. I don't know, somewhere around there.
So this is the area that you were talking about. This is the first boss fight. No, I call it a boss fight, but it's not really a boss per se. But the way this game is structured is it's kind of a race, right? It's a time trial. You've got like 10 minutes to make it to the end of the course. There are checkpoints. You get points for how quickly you make it through each checkpoint, but you also get points for killing the zombies along the way. And there are zombies, there are dogs, there are all sorts of different obstacles put in your way, things that are trying to kill you before you make it to the next checkpoint. So you're kind of trying to find that balance of speed so that you can get the points for making through quickly, and then damage, points from killing the zombies or dogs or whatever you come across. Um, but the way it's structured is after you make it through all the checkpoints, the final ending checkpoint uh, is stationary. So it goes from kind of being like this rail shooter to being a wave shooter. Yeah, and you sit stationary. A few waves of zombies come out, and if you can manage not to die, you'll make it to the end of the level. It'll show you your final score on a leaderboard with your friends, and then you go on to upgrade your bike, much like you upgraded your plane in the last game we talked about. You can upgrade your bike, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your character, and then you're on to the next level.
I was a sliv away, man. I was right there. I was like a minute away from winning, dude. That sucks. I died quite a
Yeah,
bit.
well, one of the more frustrating things about this game is if you die, that's it. You got to start over. There's no like checkpoint, right? You have to. I think they let you die once or twice, and then that's it. You have to start the whole track back over, and these tracks are fairly long. Again, they give you 10 minutes to complete it in,
Mm,
and there was more than once that the time just ran out on me, and and I didn't make it.
yeah.
So it's not these aren't the shortest levels, and it's like the last game. Uh, I was surprised at how fun it was, how addictive it was, but it's a game that you can pick up and play in shorter sessions, right?
Yeah, 10-minute sessions at least just for each one. What did you think about the steering? I thought it was pretty cool because literally is on leaning. And at first I thought you had to lean more, but it's really just your head. You just kind of lean your head a little bit, and that's how you're steering your motorcycle. So you really get going into this thing, right? And then shooting. And the only thing I think would be cooler is if somehow you could um, dual wield, but I don't know how you would still go forward because you're using your left trigger to move forward. One thing that I would recommend, and I don't know if there's anything way we can change it, or maybe the devs can give you an option or change it, but I don't know how many times I accidentally clicked the left grip on my left controller, and it recenters the bike. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah, yeah.
grip it at the wrong time when you're leaning, all of a sudden you're facing a different way, and oh shit, grip it real quick, right? So
Yeah, I did that a couple of times. But yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying about how you steer. They didn't want to make the game all about controlling the bike. They wanted you to have the freedom to be able to concentrate on on the combat, which is cool. So the way they did that is they took the steering control and put it all based on your HMD. So it's all gaze based as to where you drive, but you control the throttle and the brake with your controller. So it's kind of this hybrid style of control where your hands make you go, and that's really all you're controlling. The rest of it is very intuitive with the head movement steering the thing. And what that does is it makes it kind of like Blood and Truth, where you're not really thinking so much about movement, and it really allows you to focus in on the combat.
Yeah, and that javelin sword thing. What was cool is when you first get it and you go over that jump, and it goes into slow mo, and there's 3 zombies there, and you just shoom, chop their heads off, and there you go. I don't know, man. I had too much. Hey, there's that shotgun. I had too much fun. More fun than I thought I would have had. And you know, when you said, "Oh hell," because you told me about Hell Road before, I think we even tried it, and I didn't have the same optimism because I had no idea what to expect from this game. It could have sucked for all I know, but I'll tell you what, it definitely doesn't suck. What's the cost on it?
Well, it's on sale right now. Let me bring it up. It is part of this Cyber Monday Black Friday sale, and it's only like it's like $12 or $13 right now. I think it's normally 20. And I definitely recommend it. So if this looks like something that you might enjoy, you should pick it up right now. There's a link in the description, in fact, to this game so that you can get right to it. All the games that we've talked about so far are linked in the description, so
Okay.
you can go and either wish list them or pick them up.
Yeah.
But it's $12 on sale right now, and the normal price is $20. So yeah,
Okay.
you're getting $8 off a $20 game right now, 40% off. That's pretty big discount.
Yeah, and I would say this is arcadey too, you know, because you know that was the whole point of arcade games is you had that like the checkpoints and you had to start at the beginning and you got from level to level, right? I could totally see this being an arcade type of game. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to get back into it. And like I said, all 3 of the games I enjoyed. I would say this one, I think this one and 76 were really close for the same reasons. It has that one more, and it just keeps gripping me back in to the point that just watching this video makes me want to go play it.
Yeah, this is definitely an arcade style game. And I get what you're saying. You know, this one and 76, they're both that palate cleanser type game where you can play it for a few minutes and put it down, but you don't want to because it's so addictive. Whereas Hinge, even in its unfinished state, is more of a main course game, right? Something that you're really going to have to sink your teeth into. Uh, if you're playing that game, you're playing it for at least an hour, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gamer Chick says, "Are the dogs zombies or are they just rabid?" I don't know, but they're friggin' relentless. You can't stop after you get past them because they'll come up and bite your ass when you're not expecting it. I hate those friggin' dogs.
Yeah, these zombies are getting pretty intricate too. Because I didn't get this far, but I'll tell you what, those green things, at least the ones when I killed them, it like put out a cloud as well. And so I was a little apprehensive. I guess these ones are as you just kind of have to take your time. But yeah, I think it's definitely a recommend for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Recommend here as well. And you know what? The real tragedy of this is, when I was playing it, I was thinking about how fun it is, how well done it is, how good it looks, how good the gameplay feels. And this is done again by a small studio, Travel Lab Replay. Um, but I was just thinking, it occurred to me just how perfectly these levels would fit in The Walking Dead Onslaught. Because you have Daryl, right, who rides the bike. We have scenes in the Walking Dead television show of Daryl doing the stuff that you're doing on in this game. I'm sure that if the people at Servios had had the least bit of inspiration to think about what they're doing. And again, they're trying to make an arcade style game too. They could have implemented levels like this in that game, and it would have been, it would have made the game twice as good.
Yeah.
So, kudos to Travel Lab for putting out a better game than Servios did, and again, just dumbfounded by how clueless Servios seems to be in regards to that game.
Yeah. That's baffling.
But anyway, definitely I recommend here. Pick it up now while it's on sale. $12 on Steam. Go get it now. All right, Ruth. So that's going to wrap up the games review and get us into our discussion topic. And as always, we're going to wrap the month up by taking a look back at the games that released this past month and picking the game of the month from each platform. And looking back at the month of November, Roots, as busy as we have been playing games, I really expected there to be more releases from November than what there actually ended up being. Turns out, Roots, we've been playing like October games and stuff, and really not all that much came out in November.
I was shocked when I looked at the list and I was like getting ready to make the scenes, and I was like, wow, that's not many scenes there. And one category had 0. I mean, it had a scene, but it had 0 games came out, and I was like, whoa. I just it this month blew by so much so, Wes, that I didn't even realize it was game of the month until I looked at the list, and I was like, oh shit, it is the 30th today. It's the end of the month, beginning of the next month, and wow, time is flying.
Yes, sir. The I kind of lost my train of thought here. That happens sometimes, man. Forgive me. I'm having a senior moment. But at any rate, let's start off the way that we always do, but by talking about the game of the month for PlayStation VR. Oh, I know what it was, what I was going to say, inconsequential as it was. But I was just going to point out that November was a hardware month and that December is definitely going to make up for it by being a software month.
Yeah,
That's all I was going to say.
there's good stuff coming out. Can't wait.
But let's talk about the month of November on PlayStation VR, and maybe one of the game cats in the chat can correct me here, but I was unable to find any PlayStation VR releases in the month of November. And now that said, it's not so easy as it used to be to research this because, always before you could go onto the PlayStation Store, click on PSVR catalog, order things by release date, and then you could see what the most recent games were. You can no longer do that. They restructured the PSVR store or the PlayStation store in general. You can't order the games in any order anymore. Not by release date, not by alphabet. You can't customize the view at all, which meant that I had to pretty much take the Google and check out PSVR without parole on YouTube. Their PSVR this week. I had to go through and watch every week of that again, and only to find out that I couldn't find any games for PlayStation VR this month.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, what about ports? No ports, nothing came. Well, I mean, there's, we've said it before, everything's moving to PlayStation 5. Anybody that's developing anything is developing for that, and so everything's kind of in a lull, right? So,
Absolutely. Phil Yarn says, I love some VR, but December 10th is Cyberpunk Day.
ooh,
Dude, December 10th is Medal of Honor Above and Beyond Day. Cyberpunk's cool, and I'm definitely going to play it, but bro, come on.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I think I'll play it. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know.
Onakazi has the idea, Roots. He says, I'm going to split the day. That's
Well,
probably a good idea.
that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. I
It's not
respect
like
that.
it's not like we all want to play VR all day anyway, right? We could take a break and pop in some Cyberpunk.
Yeah, slum it for a couple minutes, come back in, be good. So
Delirium Juice says, fuck that. We have way too many wave shooters and not enough quality rail shooters. I mean, Rush of Blood and Blood and Truth. Yeah, man. I don't know if he's talking about Hellroad or just PlayStation VR in general, But yeah, Hell Road, it's kind of a cool. Would you consider it a rail shooter, Roots? I mean, you're not, strictly on a rail. You are driving your bike, but it's completely linear. It's not like you can run off road. If you run off road, you're dead. So, I mean, it's kind of a rail shooter, right?
Yeah, it's a rail shooter with options, you know. Like I mean, really, because you can go like there's different points where there's different paths. You can go right or left, and that one has different things to deal with, and others don't. And I mean, I haven't made it that far into the game to see how far it is. I mean, it's clearly both, right? It's a wave shooter, but it's like you can pass stuff, you can skip stuff, you can decide you want to go against this guy or that guy. I don't know that the enemies change. I think they're always the same. So there's that. But I don't know. It's one of those games that it's so much fun. At least it was for me. I didn't really stop too much to consider the intricacies that I would when I'm talking about it. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Rush of Blood did cross my mind when I was playing it, even though it is, a fair bit different than that game. It scratches a lot of the same itches, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was definitely I definitely enjoy it, and it's something for someone like Scion that doesn't want the zombies getting too close. You just zip right by them, Scion, no problem. On the bike, you're
Absolutely.
good to go, bro. Um, yeah.
But back to PlayStation VR. So, Roots, we have a choice here at hand. What are we going to give the PlayStation VR game of the month to when there's no games? And I would say we have two different choices. I would say we could give it to Astro's Playroom. While even though it's not a VR title per se, it's a VR character. It's a game that should have been in VR, and it also highlights many of the features that we're hopefully going to see on PlayStation VR 2. So we either could choose that or we could choose the best thing that actually released on PlayStation VR in the month of November, and that is the update to Blood and Truth. Uh, Blood and Truth running at 90 frames per second natively, 4K natively inside that headset. It's easily the most beautiful game in PlayStation VR now. And I don't know, Roots. I got to say, if we had to pick something as a game of the month for PlayStation VR, I might have to vote for Blood and Truth.
I think that would be definitely good as long as it's not can't win game of the year because it was what really didn't come out in the year. But I think it's more of a contender or should be considered than Astro's Playroom, even though, like you said, it is. You say, well, it's from a VR gate character. It's a game we wanted to be in VR, but I think they blew it, Wes. I want that. I still want that game in VR. The hell were they thinking, bro? I guess it's kind of cool for people that don't have VR, right? And maybe he gets interested in what Astrobot is, pulls him into VR. Maybe I don't know.
It's fun, dude. It's fun even on the 4K flat screen. Like I was playing it some more a couple days ago. It's fun. The controller, there's so much tactile sensation in that controller. It's just a joy to play, and I'm confident that we're gonna have some news in the next 4 to 6 months about PlayStation VR, and I think Astrobot's going to be part of that because the people at Japan Studio. Um, they did say that we'd be hearing more from Astrobot very soon. That's a quote or a paraphrase rather. It might not be word for word, but that's what they said that we would be hearing more from Astrobot soon. So I don't know how soon, but I got to imagine that whatever kind of announcement they have to make about Astrobot most likely is going to be tied to VR in some way.
Somebody said Dreams update as well, and then um, something else. What was Squadrons? I guess Void Citizen said. But I don't think that was October,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not sure that that Dreams was specifically patched. I think that it may have just already had the dynamic resolution
Hmm.
integrated, and it just performs better on the better hardware. Where Blood and Truth was specifically patched for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, this is the best game in PlayStation 5 right now for
And
VR.
let's be honest, there was no games. I'm just kind of, as a joke, picking something for the game of the month on PSVR, but obviously it can't win game of the year. Uh, I'll leave it up to you guys. You can name it whatever you want. In my opinion, Blood and Truth is just absolutely stunning now. So if I had to pick something, I would pick Blood and Truth.
And Wes just knows there's too many game cats in the chat to not have something in there. Be torn up,
Right.
dude. It's a bad idea,
The
Wes.
Squadrons was patched though. I mean, I don't know if the patch actually made any difference though. I
It,
know that it did on PS5,
no,
but I don't know about inside the headset.
it's
So
true.
anyway, let's move on to a platform that actually had games come out, and by games I mean game. There was one game that came out on Oculus Quest this month, Ruuts, and two fairly notable high quality experiences, interactive experiences. So I included those as well in the discussion here, just so we would have something to talk about. But based on the level of quality, I certainly feel like these titles belong. And we're going to start off with a title that we actually covered some time ago on our channel, and that title is Spheres. Spheres is a I don't know, it's kind of a celestial uh, education experience, but it's not pure education. It's kind of a education meets art. It's kind of a fusion title, something that's very beautiful, but also very informative as well.
Yeah, what I liked about this was like a lot of the audio and stuff, and they would like have you say something, and then they would play it. You would hear it back, and or you'd put your head in the sun, or just different things that would let you interact with it. And they had what, three different parts with three different narrators. Jessica Chastain, Millie Bobby Brown, and I can't remember who the third person was.
Patty Smith.
Yeah, Patty Smith. So it was good. I bought it. I think it was like $10. But it's I bought it on the Rift a long time ago. Now this. I'm
Yeah.
assuming this is not cross buy, right?
I actually have no idea. I could tell you very quickly if it is or not, but it is $10 on the Oculus Quest platform, and I didn't even know that this had launched until I saw it today.
Hmm.
I got to imagine that as beautiful as this was all that time ago when we checked it out, I got to imagine that it's just as or even more so now on the improved optics of the Oculus Quest 2, right?
Yeah, dude. I I cranked up my super sampling all the way to the end. I think it's 1.7 now. And I went into Google Earth. It blew me away, dude, how clear and crisp and the pictures, and even way better than I remember it. New York City, whatever. I still want to walk the streets of Wuhan. But it was amazing, Wes. Like, I'm blown away by that screen, and I don't think that people realize, and it makes me think exactly like you did. I need to go back into Spheres and go through it again, because it's well worth checking out a second time.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not cross-buy, so
Oh,
those of you
that.
who have already purchased it on Rift, you might want to virtual desktop it, bro.
Yeah, well, and I don't even need to be wireless anyway. I've been using my Oculus Link lately anyway, so
Well, there you go.
I go back and
Yeah,
forth.
even Oculus Links, it's not that much of a hindrance, is it? Because it's a lighter cable than like your typical VR tether would be.
Yeah, and I've got it now like strapped to the very back of my headset, with a strap that came with it, and then so it just goes right over my back. I don't even feel it there anymore, and it takes the pressure off the elbow. So,
That's what I do too. There's like this little Velcro thing
yep,
that came with the cable, and I just loop it right around the back of the strap and run the cable through that, and you don't even think about it when you're in the game.
yeah, that's easy.
Easy peasy. Anyway, Spheres from City Lights VR came out November 12th, 2020, $10. A quality title, definitely worth checking out. The next experience, really, you guys have heard us talk about it 100 times on this channel. Wolves in the Walls might be the best interactive experience in VR, if we don't like count things like Vader Immortal, some more gamey type things. But as far as these pure interactive experiences that are more of a video than a game, Wolves in the Wall is probably still the best one, right?
Yeah, it's the most interactive. It's the most one that made me feel most present in the experience, made me elicited emotions. Even the last time I went into it recently with the Quest 2 just to check it out, and I'd forgotten, and it was kind of cool because I did it on the wireless version that's free. That's another thing. This is free, right? It is free or no? I don't know. Maybe it's not
No,
free. It
no,
was
it is
free.
not free. It was free. And for those
Oh
of us who picked
man,
it up on Oculus Rift when it was free, it is cross-buy. So we can get the Quest version for free.
I know.
But if you don't already have this in your library, it is now $8. And I would contend that it's definitely worth $8.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we first found out on Quest, I said I hope they do charge because it's worth it, and I already got it for free. I would have paid for it if it wasn't a free one. I didn't know, but that was what I was gonna say. Is like the beginning of it. I forgot. Like she like starts drawing on the ground, and they have you like you just get down there with her, and it just makes you feel like you're in the story. It's I can't explain it, and it's definitely worth checking out for sure. It's a great thing to showcase VR, especially for kids. Now, little kids you might think about because there are a little couple parts with the wolves. I don't think it's scary, but if kids are scared of the dark, they may think it's creepy. Every kid's
Yeah,
different. So
it's kind of like Ghost Giant, right? Where it's on the surface, it's a very charming world and very beautiful artistic expression, but at the same time, there are definitely some darker adult themes at play here. So yeah, it might not be the best for the younger children. But with that said, for $8, you're getting a title here that is interactive. Um, you're not just watching. You're using your hands. You're communicating with the lead character, and I would contend that probably. I mean, I can't think of very many cases where I have developed a connection like this with a video game character where you actually feel like you're talking to a real living being there, right?
yeah, I'm her invisible friend, Wes. I felt sad, and even just the beginning, the way she does it, the way they do it is really good, very artistic. Like you just see circles being drawn, right? And then all of a sudden, after she draws two circles, you see those are your eyes, and you can see her, and she's like, "Oh, I drew you too tall." She wipes them away, and they disappear, and then she does them again, and now you're the same height as her, and I mean, there's a reason why this won so many awards. It was well done, and this is like a well-known story too. It's not just some random book. This book's been out for several years, right? It's three parts, but I assume it's all into one now. So
Yeah, it's all right. It's all one package, 3 acts. I think they give you a break, or they suggest you take one after the first act, and then they show you the second two together. But anyway, this is Wolves in the Walls from Fable Studio, released November 19th onto the Oculus Quest platform for $8. Highly recommend it. One of the best experiences in VR and a great demo. A lot of people asking, what can I demo people on in my headset? This is kind of perfect for that, isn't it?
yeah, especially for people, and I get it all the time from people that are saying, "Hey, I'm not a gamer. Why? What do I want to see?" Throwing them into something like this, or as stupid and simple as it seems, because it's been blowing me away. Go through the 360 videos or the 180 YouTube videos, man. I found some that blew me away recently. You put them in those, and they're gonna. I mean, I guarantee somebody just sitting around with this headset is gonna. My eyes are open, Wes, to this kind of stuff, and then even the free stuff that's coming out on YouTube. There's just a lot of cool stuff, a lot of informational stuff that I used to love to watch, the Nature Channel or documentaries or just really cool documentaries, right? And I think they're really starting to come out. So
Yeah, a lot of good stuff on Oculus TV as well. If you've
yeah,
got standalone Quest, there's a TV app in your app collection, and they have a lot of curated, very high quality VR 3D material in there for you to check out.
it,
Stuff from Tested, stuff from the Slow Mo guys, stuff from David Attenborough, a lot of good stuff.
A lot of travel too. That's one of the things that blew me away the most, Wes, is like, especially in a time of COVID where you can't go anywhere. And for some people, you really, like right now, you can't go anywhere. I take that for granted as I go outside. Um, I went to like Niagara Falls and like the Angels Falls and places that like I'll probably never go to. And I was blown away at how clear and how good it looked. And as I felt like I was there, and or as close as you can without feeling that breeze of the mist coming in your face. But it was
Yeah,
cool.
when I first got my original Quest, that was some of that virtual tourism was one of the first things I did. I used YouTube, and I visited a few different places all around the world. I went to like these Buddhist temples in India that were absolutely beautiful. I visited, I think it was the Parthenon in Athens. Anyway, I went to a few of these different places, and it wasn't, some of them are great quality, some of them are just okay, but in almost every case, it's a rewarding experience.
Yeah, well, it's getting to the point where some of them are so good that because there's some videos that you watch and it's like they didn't have it down. They didn't have the 3D down. Whatever they didn't have down, you can feel it. Doesn't feel right. It feels weird, or it looks hazy. And then there's stuff that's been filmed recently that you can just tell is the high tech stuff, and it just looks so good on that in that headset. So
What I'd like to see more of is more of this technique that they used on that the Holy Land
yeah,
program that we checked out, where it's kind of 360 volumetric video, but they've augmented it as well with like digital, video game rendering techniques. So it's kind of a hybrid video slash game, but it's absolutely beautiful, even though the file size was something crazy big.
yeah, yeah. We got
It's
stuff
like,
like that. Yeah, it was like 60, 70 Greek gigs, right?
yeah, it was like a triple A flat game. It was ridiculous,
Yeah, it's crazy.
but a great experience. Another one, the Holy Land, that was one of the better ones I've ever tried.
Yeah, and that was free too. I might have to go check that out in Viveport Infinity again.
Yeah, it was part of Infinity. It's $20 on to buy it, but included with Viveport Infinity.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, that brings us to our third and final title on Oculus Quest this month. The only thing I would consider a game that came out on Quest in November, and that is Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Roots, we just recently talked about this, I think last week, and not only one of the best games to come out on Quest in November, but one of the best games that's come out on Quest 2, period, right?
Yeah, and it blew Vader Immortal away. Even with the dojo, everyone always dojo. It's the dojo. Don't forget the dojo. I'll tell you what, Wes. My recommendation, even though it still stands, to play this on hard. And hard, man. It's hard, bro. Like I've never died so much, and I'm sure you haven't. You probably didn't die because I actually played
Oh
quite a
no,
bit left.
I've
it's
died a few times because I started out on hard as well, and it's hard, bro.
it's hard, and there's just so much going on, and there's so many enemies just nonstop, and they're just shooting at me, Wes, and they want to kill me, and two shots and I'm dead. And but everything so far about this game, I'm just loving it. And I mean, I can't say that this, like you just said it, it's probably one of the best Quest games that's been released. So for me, it's a no brainer for the game of the month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no question. I really just put those other two titles in here because they're just such high quality. But I mean, obviously, it's not called application of the month. It's called game of the month, and even if we did have other games, I suspect that this probably would have won regardless because it is extremely fun. It's the type of Star Wars game that we've wanted. And of course, it's not perfect. It could be better in some areas, but It's the type of Star Wars adventure game that we've been waiting for since we got our headsets. So kudos to the people at ILMX Lab. Uh, Great job, and way to listen to your community, because literally they addressed every criticism that we had about Vader Immortal here, and we can't complain about any of that stuff
Mm-mm.
at all here.
No.
So great job.
My only complaint is hopefully they're listening to the podcast and they can patch it. I just want the accurate backpack. Other than that, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, they should have. They shouldn't have called that a jetpack. I think that was the mistake. I don't think the game needs a jetpack, but if you're going to call something a jetpack, it needs to work like a jetpack, right?
Yeah, they really didn't. They could have just extended just like other games to where you could teleport up, just by, you know what I mean, getting your circle up there,
Right.
and it would have worked fine. I think it's cool, and if they can add it, I mean, I don't see why they can't just, have you slowly descend and make it feel like it's a backpack, or I mean a jetpack. So,
They're probably worried that people are going to get sick and puke their guts up.
well, they're probably going to do that from smooth locomotion anyway, if they were going to do that from anything, you know.
Right.
So, give us
Right.
smooth.
Well, yeah. If you're the type of person who gets sick in VR, then you're going to get sick regardless, right? So they might as well make the games, fun, and then let people figure it out. Anybody can overcome VR sickness. I've never met anybody that was as sensitive to it as my wife was when she started in VR. But VR was so awesome that she did what it took, and all it takes is 15 minutes a day, Roots. Just play it every day, and you get used to it, and then you're not sick anymore.
Yeah, people get scared of it. They push it too far, and then they get really sick, and then they get afraid, and they run away from it.
Yeah. They run away like Scion when faced by zombies.
Yeah, they're running screaming, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Anyway, Scion, the way that most people deal with zombies is by stabbing them in the face, which is something you're an expert at already. So you should give it a shot. I think that your fears are overblown here.
I think you're right. I think he would be the ultimate zombie slayer, because he's so good at least with humans, you can, zombies are stupid. You could really shove them in their face. So.
Yeah, you know who loves to get it shoved in their face, Roots?
My
Oh,
mom!
wow, I didn't know that. It's crazy.
Anyway, that's going to bring us on to PCVR again. Star Wars: Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, ILMX Lab, released on November. Come on, my window's not working. November 19th for $25, worth every penny. Pick it up if you haven't already.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Roots. We get to PCVR, and we had a few titles. We had a few titles in PCVR, not a lot. Actually, we did have a lot that actually released. Most of it, though, just indie stuff on Steam, stuff not worth mentioning. But we did have a few notable ones. This first one here is an interesting one to me, Roots. Grapple Tournament. And I put Grapple Tournament on the list for a specific reason, because it looks cool. And this was a title from Tomorrow Games that we were actually given beta access to, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And much like the title that I mentioned earlier today, Hell Road, um, I got this access to this right around the time that I got Hell Road. And right after I accepted an invitation into the beta, I pulled the graphics card out of my PC and didn't have access to the PC version again. So I didn't actually get a chance to participate in the PC beta, and I didn't never got a chance to play this, unfortunately. But it looks cool. It released November 5th onto Steam VR for $25. And Roots, here's the cool thing, the kicker. I just realized there's a free demo of this. You can try this out for free on Steam right now. And I think we should, because I think it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I kind of missed the boat on this as well, I guess, because you forgot about it, I forgot about it, or I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. Definitely looks like. Now I see that there was B. It says point capture. Is that 1 point, or are we talking domination? If it's
I have
domination, let's call it
no
domination.
no idea, brother, what the rule set is. What I do know is this looks like Jupiter God with guns,
It
and
does, right?
that that
Yeah.
that sounds like a deadly combination, my friend.
Yeah. Well, definitely have to check it out. I mean, there's nothing better than a demo for a game. It shows confidence in said game, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I mean, especially if you're going to put out a relatively unknown game on Steam with a $25 price tag, you need to people need to be able to try it out before they throw that money down. So I suggest to everyone, hit us up in the Discord. Let's all try it out on the same day. It is a competitive game. Hopefully that they do let you compete some in the demo, so that you can really get a real taste for what it's like.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I just wanted to include that, put a little shine on Grapple Tournament. I feel like I owe the developers that for giving us a beta spot, but then never actually taking advantage of it. So you guys check the demo out. Anyway, let's move on to some games that we're a little more familiar with, Roots. And the next title on the list, you'll remember it from the very top of the show, Hinge. And I know with all of the negative press and all of the negative reviews, people were saying, why in the world would you include this in a game of the month discussion? And the reason why is because the things it does well, it does so well. And I'm not going to recap that. Just go back to the beginning of the video. But, you know, uh, if we're telling you guys to hang in there and stay tuned for a $30 uh, you know, episodic horror game, there must be some potential here, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me to stick around in there as long as I did with the performance issues it was having, tells you it's not my jam like it's your jam, and I thought it was really cool and intriguing. So, if it would have released in a proper fashion, like maybe it will after the fourth update, then it could have been considered game of the month, or at least in the running for it. So I definitely think it's right where it should be talked about. So.
Absolutely. From there, we move on to a game that we've looked at a couple of times on this channel, but never played. It is now available on Viveport Infinity in case anyone wants to check it out, and that is Stargaze. Stargaze comes to us from Played with Fire, released on November 20th for $20, but again, available on Viveport Infinity. So maybe you're a little bit iffy about buying a puzzle game that pretty much has you standing in the same spot through the whole thing. Well, you don't have to pay much. If you've got Five Port Infinity, you can try it out for free.
Well, and who knows? It could be really cool. Like stuff like what was that one that we got for free on one of the platforms? Nog. And you're not really doing much except for standing there and flipping this thing around, and that was one of the coolest, most visual 3D things I've ever seen in VR. So,
Absolutely, that's a good point. So, yeah, we put this in here because it is a very good-looking game, and it's a very unique concept as you're using this magical telescope to explore distant worlds. But you can also, I mean, again, it's a magical telescope. You get to interact with them in very unique ways. So, a unique concept, a beautiful game, and certainly. Uh, even without playing, I can tell you that it's one of the best releases in November for PCVR.
I'm going to try it. Looks cool.
I agree. And that brings us with our fourth and final candidate for PCVR Game of the Month, Tarzan VR, Episode 1, The Great Ape, brought to us by our friends at Stone Punk Studios, as well as publisher Fun Train, released on November 17th, 2020, for a total of $15. Well, Roots, not a whole lot to be said here that we haven't said already. Nostalgia overload, fairly fun arcade style gameplay, absolutely tremendous locomotion. A lot to like here, right?
Yeah, and it comes with every episode comes with a couple of extra hidden Ranthonies in there, and who doesn't love a Ranthony? You get to own your own Ranthony in there, man. I want to get the second episode just so I heard there's a couple more in there. So I'm assuming there's a couple per each one. So it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely concur with that, and I wouldn't think that it would be too much longer now. We should have the second one coming to us as well as the third, hopefully, very very soon. But really enjoyed the first one. Still have yet to try it since they patched it. I really should probably get in there because my only real criticism of the game was that it was too easy, and supposedly they remedied that. So probably deserves another playthrough. Episode one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention the overworld. I haven't fully explored it yet, and there's a lot of little nooks and crannies that I noticed. There's some vines you can swing on in the overworld itself that may take you someplace that you might otherwise find difficult to access.
Yeah, I feel like I've gone everywhere, Wes, but I didn't find the hidden cave in the first level like you did, and I looked for it. So apparently I missed it. So who knows? There might be more stuff, but there's definitely a lot of stuff on the overworld to explore. You know, that little bird, we never talked about that toucan bastard. He's always talking shit, man.
That thing's day is going to come, Roots. I tried like hell to send it to meet its maker because I had flashbacks. Right, to be honest, it wasn't all the bird's fault. I have this pent up aggression that stems from trying to make a Borderlands 2 video with that fucking claptrap never shutting up the whole damn time you're playing the game. I have pent up aggression toward that thing. And when this bird just occasionally interrupted me, it kind of threw me into a flashback. And I took it out on the bird's head.
I bet, dude. Hey, that's a game to go check out in your GT or G2 cranked up Borderlands 2. See, because it looks so good already, but can you imagine how good it's going to look in your headset?
Yeah, dude, I've got a long list of things that I want to check out. I think next on my to-do list is Revive, because then Revive brings along with it Asgard's Wrath, and it brings along with it Lone Echo, and so many awesome looking games on the Oculus platform. Honestly, the best library in PCVR is on the Oculus. So looking forward to getting into that.
Yeah, now own Asgard's Wrath, right?
I do.
Nice.
Cool. I went through the process. It isn't as easy for us early adopters as it was for the new owners. The new owners just have to buy it, plug in their link cable, and they get it. For us that weren't originally supposed to get the game, they'll give it to us, but we have to submit a support ticket with some very specific information on it, and then a few days later you'll get the game.
Ah, cool. At least you got it. That's what's cool, man. It's probably one of the best, and like Alex said in the Discord, and I agree, it's one of the best games in VR. And I think it's just too long, but that's not a problem per se. It's just a problem for me because I can't make it through it. So
yeah, I say that there's no such thing as too long. And you know who else says that, Ruuts?
I was just about to say. Yeah, I have heard that. I've heard her say that a couple times.
Anyway, Ruuts, an interesting lineup for PCVR Game of the Month November. Obviously, I would say it comes down to the two that we've played. And I think if we played them all, it probably would come down to those two. But I'm leaning Tarzan just based on the fact that it's jank free. Even though I feel like if Hinge were to fulfill its potential, it would probably be a better game overall than Tarzan is.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. I definitely think Tarzan is the winner because Hinge is a little bit jank. But if you were to make the argument at the end of the year, which one is the better game when it's all said and done, or I guess for the game of the year discussion, maybe it changes. Maybe Hinge's update is so good on the 4th, you can crank it up. Because if I'm able to turn all those settings back on, Wes, it's going to be amazing. But right now, I have to turn them all off. So,
Well, I think that it's fairly cut and dry then, right? Tarzan VR, the PCVR game of the month, but Hinge certainly a an honorable mention here. We will revisit it during the 2020 show when we are talking about the game of the year. Perhaps by then it will have corrected its issues, and maybe it'll be a candidate.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of the 2020 show, uh, if I don't get it up tonight, by tomorrow, I will have the list of last year's 2019 show categories up. And the reason I'm posting these is because I want to ask you, the audience, to give us some new ones or maybe rename the old ones. Uh, the whole hook of our year-end awards is that we don't want to do conventional awards. We want to do something a little bit different, and we want your help with that. So scroll down to the description down below. There you will find an invitation to our Discord, and in our Discord you will find for the next week to 2 weeks the discussion about what awards that we're going to give out. We'll take suggestions, and then again, at the end of a week or two here, we will release the official list of awards for the 2020 show. And at that point, we'll start taking votes and nominations for each category. And then we will reveal the winners during the 2020 show. Probably going to end up doing the 20 show like we did last year, right? At the very beginning of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely would be a good time for sure. And I'm looking forward to it. We've already got the channel up there for 2020 show. And then like Wes will put that, he said he'll put that list in there and we'll go from there.
Yeah. And then if you guys have any categories on your mind that you want to share with us, you don't have to wait on me. Feel free to go on in there and just tell us the title of the award and what the actual award is for. So, for example, if we say the Jerry Rice Award, out from that, we would put it's the award for the best hands in VR. And that was one of the awards from the 2019 show. One of the very easy ones to remember. That's the reason why we keep bringing it up.
Mm.
But, you know, it could be anything.
Richard Simmons Award.
The Richard Simmons Award.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
Let's see here. Are you doing Best Hands Award again? Probably. If we have enough nominations or enough different games that have great hands, you know, I don't think that that's an award that will ever drop because what's the first thing that you tend to look at when you get into VR?
Yeah. Your
It's
hands.
always the hands, right? And I did the same thing even in Hinge. Like when I saw that building and just how beautiful it was, I said, "Man, this game might be beautiful." So what do you check to see just how high the resolution in the game is? You put your hands up and look at the detail on the hands. So yeah, I'd say that best hands will always be a category.
Yeah.
At the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's and that's the fun, is we never know what we're gonna have. So I think this year's gonna be even more crazy.
Absolutely. But anyway, I'll try to put the list of last year's categories up. If I don't get to it tonight, I will definitely get on it tomorrow. And Matty Matt 2323 says Half-Life Alex will definitely win with those gloves. And I would say that it's probably a front runner, right? But we had some very cool ones. You know, don't count out Jupitergrad. Those were very cool as well.
Yeah, best multi-tool. That'd be a good one, right? With Half-Life Alex, all even that one we just played through recently. That was really good. People were saying it took a lot of Half-Life Alex's the Star Wars, you know, the theme with the multi-tool and stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to see a lot of ideas being borrowed from Half-Life Alex in the coming years. You know, it was such a transcendent game. You know, not only in terms of what they accomplished in game, but what they accomplished in the market as well. I mean, they made a shit ton of money, and that's good because we all know how much Valve needs more money.
Yeah, especially Anthony. You know, they're balling out of control. Hashtag balling out of control.
Yeah, hashtag balling out of control. Oh, he was talking shit like people should be ashamed if they've got some expensive hardware, and then I'm sitting here with on top of all this new stuff, and like, hey man, I'm balling out of control. So what of it?
Yeah, but you know what? What's funny, Wes, is what he described is you though.
Yeah,
Stocking the money away, and you know what I mean. Like you're balling out of control because you diligently got there. So
yeah, we did make it happen. I'm by no means a wealthy man, but I'm wealthy where it counts, Roots. I have a wonderful, loving family. We have a roof over our heads, and
VR,
I wouldn't change anything.
you got VR. That's all you need.
I got VR, Roots. I got
Yeah,
a G2, bro.
you got G2, bro. Yeah, that's right. You don't need no crappy valve index.
Not so sure though. I wouldn't want to trade it for two more quests though, so we could all just party. You know,
Hey,
party
well,
like it's 1999.
just that option's still on the table.
It is, man. Newegg.com, guys. How's this for a deal? $2.99 for a Quest 2. $15 Newegg gift card comes with that, and Asgard's Wrath, a $40 value. It's like
Wow.
they're giving the damn thing away, Roots.
Yeah, go get it now, right? It's a good
Yeah,
deal.
I would if I were you.
Yeah, already got one.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I think that's going to wrap up the Monday show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click that notification bell. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And in general, guys, just click the things, man. That's all we need, some clicks. I don't care what you click, just click some stuff. There's all kinds of shit over there. Click some of it. It helps. I promise.
Yeah, all of it helps, even the bad stuff.
Yeah, all of it. Click it all, bro. Um, Again, invitation in the description for the Discord. Come join the conversation. Come help mold the 2020 show into what it's going to be. And come join in the game as we venture off in the Population 1, Grip, or whatever the crew. Phasmophobia Roots. I've got that in my library now.
Yeah, we need to get into that. People have been talking about Vox Machina. People want to get into that as well. And
There you go.
yeah, and then if Pop 1, like you said, but I definitely I'm looking forward to it all.
All those games come in the Discord, so be sure to hit us up on there. And then we come to Patreon. Those of you who want to do a little something extra, somebody was saying to us the other day, Roots, that we need to get the catchy graphics is kind of what we're lacking here. We need the intros, we need the outros, we need the bumpers. I think that's probably where our Patreon funds will eventually end up going. So if this is something you'd like to see us go to the next level of professionalism while at the same time keeping it real the way we do. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $3 per month, and it's not a one-way street. You get something for it too. Not only do we share with you our weekly show notes ahead of time, generally hours before we go on the air with it, you guys will have the rundown. But you also get access to the money show, and the money show's been different things at different times. But I would say, Roots, that it has always been entertaining.
Yeah, that's fun. And we keep changing things up, bringing different people in and different games. So it's fun.
Absolutely. So big thanks to all the patrons. That's what I'm gonna name my kid, Roots. Next one I have is gonna be named Patron.
Patron. Yeah, that sounds good,
Yep.
actually. Yeah.
Anyway, with that said, friends, we would like to thank you once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.